these news songs are directly copied. I don't understand how they can use the same melody, note for note, and not get credited for it. Interpolates, what does that mean?
As a lawyer of 10 years, I can answer all these questions. Who doesn't love Rick Beato? So I appreciate Rick Beato and his music education channel. He released a video inquiring about this interpolation thing. What does it mean? How does it affect a copyright owner's rights? Do you have to get permission? Are lawyers just making this word up? As a lawyer of 10 years, I can answer all these questions. Let's jump into it.
Over the past couple days, I keep getting fed the same couple videos. I'm sure you have too, because both of these videos have over 50 or 60 million views. Let me play them for you.
At home, 'cause I was doing better alone. So I can't control it, I can't control. I was made for loving you, baby. Freezing up, locked up, can get you physical. How would I get physical?
And then
At home, 'cause I was doing better alone.
you know, the funny thing is, these aren't even music channels. This is something you might expect to see on YouTube Shorts for me or on Instagram. These are just regular channels. And regular people can see how these news songs are directly copied. The melodies sound identical. They're so similar that they're like, yeah, we all get this. You don't even have to explain it to them. So I thought to myself, I wonder if the songwriters are actually getting credited for this. Let's start with the song Prisoner by Miley Cyrus, because it uses two songs that it borrows the melody from. I Was Made for Loving You by Kiss and Physical by Olivia Newton-John. The first song was I Was Made for Loving You. It's on Kiss's record Dynasty, which came out in 1979. The songwriters, Paul Stanley, Vinnie Poncia, and my old friend Desmond Child. If we take a look at Prisoner, you'll notice none of the three songwriters are credited. Next we have...
All right, so real quick sidebar, okay? So when it comes to the right of attribution, under copyright law, that's what we say. There are certain exclusive rights that you get as a copyright owner for making a song, and it's such as the right to copy the song, to edit the song, to distribute the song, but it's also the right to attribution. Getting credit for something that you wrote, very important. If someone makes something based on your creative thing, it's called a derivative work, and you still are entitled to credit, which is what he is pointing out. Well, in this case, the lack of credit.
Physical by Olivia Newton-John, which is from the record Physical, which came out in 1981. Songwriters Steve Kipner and Terry Shattuck. Neither of them are credited either. I don't understand how they can use the same melody, note for note, and not get credited for it. But let's see if it actually mentions either of these songs in the wiki.
Now, little extra sidebar here. It could have been the deal if there was a deal done, right? So in most cases, if you're going to use something from someone else's song, we're going to execute a license agreement for that use, and typically we will include that the credit will be X, Y, and Z. So we're making some assumptions right now that there weren't actually deals done in place, and maybe there was no right of credit in these agreements. So we're just assuming these other songs were made and no kind of license was put into place. And on top of all of that, credit was not actually given.
Wikipedia entry. Under Prisoner for Miley Cyrus, it says the song's chorus interpolates the melody from Olivia Newton-John's 1981 song Physical. Interpolates, what does that mean? Let's click on that word here. It says, in popular music, interpolation refers to using a melody or portions of a melody, often with modified lyrics from a previously recorded song, but re-recording the melody instead of directly sampling it. It's often used when the artist or label who owns the recording declines to license the sample, or licensing the piece of music is considered too costly.
So interpolation happens a lot, and people get confused, and they go, well, with cover songs are where you make your own version, but you keep the same lyrics, the same structure, but it might be a different genre, it might be a different vibe, you might slow it down, right? But it's a cover song. That is allowable under the Copyright Act. And then there's straight up sampling. Straight up sampling is that from someone else's song, you took literally something from the song itself. A little vocal, a little, loop from the guitar riff, whatever. So that is sampling. You need to get a license in order to sample someone else's music. And then in this, what we'll call a third category is interpolating music, which is let's say Rick Beato releases his new hit song, and I don't take anything from the actual song. I'm not doing a cover song, but he has a great melody, and I want to interpolate the melody into my new creation, right? So I have all new parts and all new everything, but I'm still taking his melody. Well, if I'm interpolating, I still need to go get a license. And we see this done over and over. The one that comes to mind right now is Milkshake by KRYSTLE and Pharrell and Chad. But, Milkshake was interpolated into one of Beyonce's albums. And so she went and got a license to do that. But it's not an exact kind of thing. There was no sampling, but it's the same kind of clearance process as sampling. A Music Attorney is your #1 legal resource for artists, producers, and record labels. Get contract templates, one-on-one legal advice, free master classes, and everything you need for your music business. Go to topmusicattorney.com.
So interpolating something is you basically steal the melody, and as long as you're re-recording it with new lyrics, that it becomes yours. I don't get this yet. Let's check out the next two songs. Break My Heart by Dua Lipa, which came out in 2020, and Need You Tonight by In Excess, which was released in 1987. The guitar riff is so similar that I remember commenting on it back in 2020 in one of my videos, saying that's lifted from In Excess. And it says right here on Wikipedia, several music critics commented on production elements of Break My Heart, as well as Need You Tonight, Interpolation. Here we go with that word again. The only difference with this particular one compared to the last one is, as you can see here, Michael Hutchence and Andrew Ferris from In Excess have been added as songwriters on this, in addition to the other ones. So they obviously had much better lawyers. You guys know through the history of this channel, I've made many videos of copyright infringement lawsuits, and also where songs have been lifted from other songs, or as far as I was concerned. Matter of fact, there was a song, Justin Bieber song, Anyone. The chorus is pretty much identical to the song Going Home by Toto, that you would never know unless you actually listen to these Toto records. Here's a little bit from that video. Toto, Bieber. Toto, Bieber. Here are the songwriters from Toto. You notice that none of them are included as songwriters from the song Anyone.
Quick little story. So I have a very complicated copyright case. We're in federal court, and I actually use interpolation to try to explain this kind of complex legal theory to the courts, right? So basically it has to do with when you make what are the derivative works, right? We talked about that. So basically, this is what I argued to the court as I was trying to explain how you can copy something, but it can be kind of far removed, but you still have to go through these processes. This is the example I gave the court. So I go, in music, it is common for artists to interpolate elements from other popular songs with permission, such as Frank Ocean's White Ferrari song, which borrows only a melody of the Beatles' Here, There, and Everywhere. While Frank Ocean's song is certainly a derivative work based on the Beatles song, it does not include any sample, i.e. a portion of the sound recording from the original work. Okay, and then I go into, I'm talking about the Digital Millennium Copyright Act and how the opposing counsel is so wrong about their arguments and all this. But anyway, I used it as just an argument to explain that, again, it's not quite like sampling, but there still is enough of a relationship in that Frank Ocean took the melody from the Beatles song, and therefore he needed to actually go and get a license and get that permission from the Beatles.
So this word interpolation, I don't get it. I saw it crop up in the last few years. It seems like some made-up word by lawyers.
It's just a bullshit word. So you go on and
Probably.
stamp your form, Sonny, and stop wasting my time.
When music professionals have to work on these for weeks or months at a time, you'd think that somewhere someone would have said, hey, this sounds too similar to this other song. Unless they just don't care. Love to know your thoughts. Hit the subscribe.
It's definitely a term of art that we use. And Rick Beato, feel free to call me anytime. Okay, we've messaged. Thank you for your content. You do great work. You have an awesome audience. If you guys are excited for more Rick Beato reactions, hit that like video. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.